Hi, good morning, everyone. Today's April 4th. This is the Jupyter Weekly Dev Meeting. We have a good crew today. We have about 11 folks here on the call, and they'll give you their updates as we go through our meeting notes in Dropbox Paper. The link to the meeting notes are in the notes section in YouTube if you'd like to access them while you're watching the video. Let's just go to the top of the list where we keep our action items. We had one action item from last week, and that was Grant was looking for folks to test Notebook 5.0 release candidate 2. And I think we released, I don't want to steal the surprise, the announcement, but that's checked off in our notes. I won't steal Grant's thunder. Next, we have some other action items from earlier in March and also in February. So folks who are on the call who created those, if you could check off the ones that are done. Looks like Matthias is still looking for feedback on his async REPL implementation. I know Fernando made a couple comments on that, and the conversation looks like it's still going. Matthias, that one's up. There we go. We're getting stuff checked off as I speak. So thanks so much. Great. So it looks like the only outstanding one then there is the async REPL implementation. So head on over to our GitHub repo, IPython. It's the IPython. So it's IPython org, IPython repo, and then it's poll 10,390. Cool. Thanks for putting the cursor right there. Awesome. All right, so then we link our weekly news by organization. If you click on those sub-projects, those orgs, you can find updates about what's been going on in those orgs. So IPython, Jupyter, Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Widgets, and Jupyter Hub. That'll give you the number of commits, the number of issues that have been closed, lots of good metrics there. Next, project management. Speaking of metrics, I've been working on some metrics. I'm looking at an NLP problem with, I downloaded all of our issue comments from the Jupyter org, and I'm trying to create a model for some of the text that we're using there. So hopefully I'll have an update in the next couple of weeks, just looking for themes and ways that we can cluster some of our work, see if anything bubbles to the top, and hopefully I can dovetail that with the work that Brian's doing, Brian's doing with the metrics on Jupyter Lab, and other work that we're doing on the project management side. I also updated our, so when we had our project management tutorial back in February, now, and one of my action items from that was to post, basically anonymize or summarize the survey results. There was a survey distributed to the team after the week-long dev meeting in spring of 2016. So that's about a year ago now. So I went through that survey. I summarized the responses, so the responses aren't identifiable to individuals, and I've posted them up on the project management wiki, so you guys can take a look at that. Feel free to send me comments. I'm not sure, I don't think you can actually comment in that space, but actually if you want to make a section at the end for comments, feel free to do that. So you can take a look at that, and we're still using that to kind of guide some of the leadership and the work that we're doing on the team. And this is in preparation for our dev meeting in May. So that's all I have from the project management side. Matthias is back from Hawaii. I think I saw him on the call. Matthias, do you have any updates for the group that you wanted to share with us today? I'll take that as a no. All right. Feel free to post a note in the chat, Matthias, if you want to share anything at the end. All right. Next, we have Notebook, Grant, and Thomas. What is going on with Notebook? Is Grant here? Oh, all my folks are gone. All right, Thomas. Do you have anything?
5.0 is finally at long last out. So that's quite exciting, and I know that we already have a number of things queued up that we have been waiting until Notebook 5.0 is out so that we can start landing 5.1 PRs, including one that got landed and then forced to take off again. So yes, we can start bringing those in now.
That's great. And I see that Grant just joined. Hey, Grant.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you? So we had just gotten reached your section. Do you have any updates on Notebook 5.0 that you want to share here?
It's live. So, yeah, I mean, the blog post, just read that and make sure. I mean, I know some people reviewed it already, but just, give it a read and make sure that everything looks good. But other than that, I think it's like celebration time,
Hooray. That is the sound of everybody saying hooray
Silent.
on mute.
Silent clapping, yeah.
Huzzah!
Everybody's on mute. Way to go, Grant.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, thumbs up from Thomas. Cool. All right. So let's see. The NB Convert is next in our notes. Mike, do you have an update?
So we a couple weeks back, I pushed out a bunch of modifications to the templates so that we can have global filtering using a bunch of traitlets, and then a new command line argument that gives people what they've wanted for a very long time, which is the ability to just cancel out all of the prompts. Initially, that had looked pretty ugly, and now it looks pretty. In fact, I'd say it looks prettier than the standard output, so I'm considering changing the output CSS to have margins for that as well. Because right now that I've noticed it, it's not symmetric, and that's icky. But that PR is still waiting to be merged. I'm mostly working right now on a change to the download menu in the notebook for how it interacts with NBConvert. Got lots of help from various people on this, and it's been taking a while, but I think, and there's a lot, even once this is done, there will be a lot more to do, but I'm excited for what it's looking like because I think it's going to massively improve our publication sort of story. And then I was just going through and adding more things. I know that there have been a lot of bugs that were picked up by Damien and Min and others as well, but I need the time to actually summarize those before summarizing them here. But in terms of the things that could use attention from others, the PR that's waiting, if anyone wants to review that and give it a thumbs up, that'd be great. And I may bug people more about the upload configurable uploads stuff.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
Sounds good. All right. Pete, I don't think Pete's here today. So Min, you and Pete usually share the services section. Did you have any updates on that?
No, I don't think there's too much going on there. There's still some bits and pieces for working better with new stuff in 5.0, but not a lot exciting.
Okay, great. Thanks. And then dashboards, Pete. So we'll continue on. Jupyter Lab, Steve, Darian, and Chris. And Jason sometimes these days, right?
So yeah, this has been a week of going through just the remaining issues toward a beta release. We have this new concept on the client side called the client session, which is distinct from the server ID of a session. It's actually a thing that wraps metadata around the kernel, and so things like notebooks and consoles and inspectors and all those things that need to talk to a kernel now just take a client session. They don't manage their own relationship with the API the way they used to. So for example, the console used to not need all the same things that a notebook needs, but now that there's one uniform thing, it actually sort of simplifies things. And another thing that we're trying to simplify in the same way is the way file browsers are created and the way they work internally. So we want the document manager to be a singleton that eventually probably gets renamed to file manager and is effectively analogous to a file system. So irrespective of how many servers you're connected to, they're just different mounts inside the file manager. And that way you don't have to manage your own, you don't have to manage the way you create a file browser. Suppose you wanted on the left sidebar to have your local file browser, and on the right sidebar you wanted some server, and you even want to be able to drag and drop between them, and those sorts of interactions, they become really difficult unless they're actually sitting on top of a file manager that basically knows how to mediate between different mount points. So right now, the file browser extension offers a factory that generates a file browser for you with all of the application level static classes for state management, for connecting to services, and for connecting to the document manager. But that's still, there's still some ways to go to make that truly ready for the work that Ian's been doing with real-time stuff on multiple servers. But yeah, so that's one of the things we're working towards. Another thing that we're working on. So Steve has gone not all the way back to the drawing board, but close with the way we build and bundle extensions. Basically, we have exhausted all of the logical possibilities of building an extension on an author's machine with installing an extension on a client's machine without having access to the Node ecosystem. And it's not a tractable problem because of the non-standard way that different JavaScript libraries can offer chunks of functionality. So for example, CodeMirror, there's no single file in the CodeMirror package that you can say bundle this and every single thing that comes with CodeMirror comes with it, because you could actually say require CodeMirror /addon/foo. And so there's no guaranteed way, even if you have the same exact version of CodeMirror on Jupyter Lab as you do in some extension, there's no way to 100% guarantee that you have all the bits that some extension author might be using. And that problem is just not solvable without basically rewriting parts of NPM and parts of Webpack ourselves in Python. So our operating model right now is we want to offer Jupyter Lab with maybe more default extensions so that the normal use case is just pip install Jupyter Lab or conda install Jupyter Lab. But then if you want to install an extension and you do not want to use conda, which can have Node in it, then you will have a requirement of having Node on your machine, at least for beta, but it may well turn out that that's just what we need to do. And on the Phosphor front, Chris is continuing to work on the grid. Yesterday, he added a small feature that's actually a reason for a minor bump on all the packages because it affects Signal and the messaging system, where basically we didn't have a good way. A Signal connection had thrown an error, because in order to make sure the rest of the app doesn't fall apart, what was happening was that all errors were basically being caught in a try-catch block and just console warned out, which is fine in the browser, but not so great for writing tests. So now you can pass in a custom exception handler instead of the default one that does that warn, so that you could write tests that are capable of catching failures within a Signal handler. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Do you guys need any support from the rest of the team on just brainstorming or thinking of do you feel like you've exhausted the discussion within the team?
I think at the moment, what we really would like to do is once we have the extension piece, that part of the extension piece that I described rewritten, would really like people to write extensions, and not just the ones that we have now, but even like toy extensions or things to demo or something like that, and to get back to us how good or bad that workflow or experience is, because clearly that is one of the main demographics we want to target and we want to accommodate. So we know what the technical limitations are, and we can't do what is not tractable. But if there are ways of making things easier, that is often only discoverable by tons of users and not just deep thought. So that is, but that's not something I would say right now. I would say once we get very close to beta, but before beta.
Okay. All right, and we can reach out into our community for that as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Darian. Steve, anything
Thanks.
to add? Jason?
Oh, that sums it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Darian, thanks. That was a great summary.
Yeah, thanks, Darian. Yeah. All right. IPy widgets.
We're continuing.
Yeah.
We're continuing to overhaul the protocol and clean it up. I think there's basically one last major part that Sylvan and I are just still discussing. And then we plan on fixing a few things that have cropped up since 6.0 and then releasing a 7.0 pretty quickly. Don't want to commit to a timeline, but not 9 months like 6.0 took. I'll commit to that. So we hope to get 7.0 out the door pretty quickly. There's also been quite a bit of renewed interest in one of the IPy widgets libraries, Py3.js. And we're going to have a dev discussion on Thursday, hopefully on BlueJeans if it's open, at noon Eastern. I guess that's 9 Pacific, 1600 UTC, about Py3.js development moving forward.
Do you want to use the Jupyter thing, or
yeah,
do you want to?
If it's available, is there a way to schedule it, or can we just hop on and?
Well, there are a couple things we can do. We can schedule it, or we can I can create a channel unique for that particular meeting. If you want to do that too. So I mean, it's basically always available.
Yeah, I'm happy to use the Jupyter BlueJeans, just the standard Jupyter. That'll be easier for people to remember and jump on.
If it's open, yeah. So, and what I'm saying is, if it's not open, then we can actually create another room for you.
Okay.
Yeah. It wouldn't be called Jupyter, but
right. Do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's open, we'd love to use it. And if meeting participants are good with it, we might record it so that other people can see it or catch up.
I love that. Great. Thanks for recording it. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Jupyter Hub. Min or Carol?
Carol, I think you had the first thing.
Yeah, Ryan Levette had done some nice work on extensions for web services and RStudio, and he very kindly moved those over to the Jupyter Hub organization. So that should help folks using R with Jupyter Hub.
Ooh. Thanks, Ryan. All right. Next, OAuth.
Yeah, so the Jupyter Hub authentication, the way single user servers and services authenticate with users with the hub itself is switching over from a shared cookie system to using OAuth internally, and that all works now. And just there are some more complicated deployments using subdomains and things that need a bit of polish to get working, but the normal use cases are all set, and then So it's updating the docs for how to deploy services and things, and is all that's left. So that should be done this week, I think.
Cool. Make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm staying somewhere else today. No, I'm still in Seattle from a weekend trip, and those are the mugs that they have in the kitchen. So thanks, Min. All right, what else do we have going on? So let's see, conferences and outreach. It looks like for the first time in a couple weeks, there are no new conferences that we're adding to our list. I may have to take that back in a minute as we're updating our live notes. And then we have a whole bunch of stuff coming up in the spring. So
I just wanted to say I'm going to be at PyData Amsterdam this weekend. So if anybody's watching who's at the conference or in Amsterdam and interested, then let me know.
Great, thanks, Thomas. And have you updated the our events calendar to show that you'll be there?
No, because I can't remember where the events calendar lives.
Oh, wow. Let me help you with that. It is, if you go to the main Jupyter org, Jupyter landing page in GitHub, and you look for the tab at the top that says projects. And then it's the 2017 Jupyter Team Conference and Event Calendar, or you can follow the link that I posted in the chat. Find it? Did you find it, Thomas?
Yes, I've got it, thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so then once you're there, there's already a card for PyData Amsterdam, and you can click on that. And over in assignees, add yourself next to Sylvan. And then we know you're there. All right. Thanks, Thomas. Cool. All right. What else? So again, our spring meeting's coming up at the end of May. We have Codeland 21st and 22nd of April in New York. Carol and Safia are in a panel for open source. Is that going to be recorded, Carol?
Yes, it will be. So I don't know how they're going to release it, but they are recording everything.
Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that. Let's see, Craft 2017 in Budapest, April 25th to 28th. I'm thinking that's Sylvan giving a tutorial on IPy widgets. PyData London, 5 to 7 in May. Taiwan, PyCon Taiwan, June 9th to 11th. Pi Paris, June 12th to 13th. And Science Gateways Community Institute webinar, July 18th. Oh, is that new? July 18th or 20th, and Carol's presenting. So that sounds pretty cool. We also have PyCon in Portland coming up that needs to be added to that list. So that's in May, right? Yeah, so like I said before, May is going to be a really busy month for everybody. So cool. All right, JupyterCon. Yep. So the talks have been reviewed, and I think we're waiting for, I think there's going to be a week or so wait before the data all the talks that are accepted bubble to the top after the review process, and we'll just provide updates when there is more information on that front. And let's see, Ian, thanks so much for taking action items for this week. Here they are. Mike is looking for review on filters for templates in MBConvert, so that's pull request 554. And then Jupyter Lab extension handling is undergoing the major change, as Darian covered. And once they've come to once this lands, they'd like others to kick the tires by writing extensions, even toy ones, just to play around with the workflows. And then releases this week are Notebook 5.0, IPyKernel 4.6, and the Jupyter Client 5.0.1. And that's the end of the notes. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add or share with the community while we're still on?
Oh, one of the bugs that was fixed is related to defining dotted string default values inside traitlets, which apparently will trigger an import in a way that dynamic default values won't. That is, so just know that those are not actually equivalent, even if you weren't ever to change the dynamic value. That is good to know. We're not sure why they trigger an import, but they do.
Is that something worth just dropping in the notes as well for people to look at after? You did?
Under NVConvert.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. Thank you, Mike. All right, good stuff. Pull 559 and issue 556 under NVConvert. All right, good stuff. Does anybody else have info they want to share? Ian, how's real time coming along? I surprised him. I'm going to say that real time's going really well. I'm trying to give you some time, Ian, but that's all right. I'll get you when I come back. Cool. All right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see. Oh, there he is.
Sorry,
Hey.
I just wandered away from the screen for a moment.
No problem.
What was that?
How's real time going?
Oh, working on some infrastructure things that will hopefully be able to have different model backends be swappable, but it's early days on that.
Cool.
So.
All right, thanks, Ian. All right, thanks, Internet. We'll see everyone later. Bye.